What if I told you that Aston Martin is preparing the biggest change in its recent history? The AMR25 will not just be an evolution of the previous model, but a complete reinvention. But before I tell you how this could change F1, tell me in the comments. Do you think Aston Martin can challenge for podiums in 2025? The AMR25 will not just be an evolution of the previous model, but a complete transformation that seeks to solve the fundamental problems of the AMR24. During last season, Aston Martin experienced difficulties with aerodynamic flow management, especially at the front of the car. This generated instability and forced drivers to perform excessive maneuvers in the corners to take advantage of the DRS, affecting both the top speed and the efficiency of the car in the technical sections of the circuit. One of the key aspects in the evolution of the AMR25 is the total redesign of the aerodynamic concept. The team has identified that its previous approach did not allow an optimal balance between downforce and straight-line speed. For this reason, they have opted for a complete reconfiguration of the aerodynamic elements, optimizing the efficiency of the front wing and adjusting the side pods to improve airflow to the rear of the car. This change responds to the need to achieve better stability in medium and high-speed corners without compromising straight-line acceleration. The current trend in Formula One is to find a middle ground between generating aerodynamic load and reducing drag. Aston Martin is implementing advanced solutions in the diffuser and the car floor to maximize the ground effect, allowing greater grip without affecting performance in fast sectors. Fernando Alonso has been one of the main drivers of this transformation, demanding a car that is more predictable in its behavior and less dependent on extreme configurations to operate in optimal conditions. One of the points that the driver has emphasized is the need for a more precise response in the steering, which has led the team to review the geometry of the chassis and suspension. These adjustments seek to eliminate overload at the front and improve weight transfer during braking and acceleration. Another significant change is the optimization of the DRS. During last season, the downforce reduction system was inconsistent in its activation and did not provide the expected advantage compared to other teams. On the AMR25, Aston Martin has worked on a new rear wing design that promises greater efficiency when the DRS is opened, reducing drag on straights and facilitating overtaking without compromising the stability of the car when the system is closed. The development of the car has also been influenced by a new strategy in the use of the wind tunnel and CFD simulation tools. The team has reinforced its engineering team with fluid dynamics specialists, allowing a more precise evaluation of aerodynamic performance before carrying out on-track tests. This approach has been key to optimizing each element of the design without wasting time on unnecessary modifications during the season. With all these changes, Aston Martin seeks to make the AMR25 a more efficient, stable and competitive car. The aim is not only to correct past mistakes, but to lay a solid foundation for the team's future development, especially in view of the transition to Honda engines in 2026. Aston Martin is not only redesigning its car, it is also carrying out a profound transformation in its technical and management structure with the addition of key figures in the development and management of the team. The signing of Andy Cowell and the imminent arrival of Adrian Newey represent a change of direction with the aim of turning the team into a real contender in Formula One. Andy Cowell, known for his fundamental role in the success of Mercedes hybrid engines, takes over as CEO and team principal at Aston Martin. His arrival marks a strategic shift in the management of the team, as he will not only focus on the operational side, but will also have a direct influence on decision-making regarding the technical development of the AMR25 and future projects. His experience leading Mercedes engine department between 2013 and 2020 was key to establishing the German team's hegemony in the hybrid era, ensuring that its power units dominated the grid for several seasons. At Aston Martin, his main challenge will be to optimize current resources while laying the groundwork for the transition to Honda in 2026. One of the most important structural changes under his leadership is the internal reorganization of the team. Instead of centralized management where all decisions go through the same filter, Cowell has pushed for a more defined separation of the aerodynamics, engineering and performance departments. This approach allows for greater specialization and reduces response times to problems or improvements needed in the development of the car. The structure will now be designed so that each area has autonomy within its field of work, but with fluid communication to avoid integration errors between different aspects of the car. On the other hand, the arrival of Adrian Newey could be the key piece that takes Aston Martin to compete at the highest level. Considered the most successful designer in the history of Formula One, his work has been fundamental in the creation of champion cars for Williams, McLaren and, more recently, Red Bull. His possible incorporation into Aston Martin would completely change the design philosophy of the team, since its approach is based on a unique understanding of aerodynamics and the balance of the car on the track. Newey is known for his ability to innovate in car design, finding solutions that maximize aerodynamic performance without compromising stability or driver drivability. His experience could be crucial to the development of the AMR 25, particularly in optimizing ground effect and aerodynamic flow efficiency. His influence would also be crucial in the transition to the new engine regulations in 2026, ensuring that Aston Martin designs a car capable of making the most of Honda's new power units. With these changes in technical direction, Aston Martin is looking to establish itself as a team with a structure similar to that of the dominant teams. The combination of Andy Cowell's strategic vision with Adrian Newey's design expertise could be the boost needed to close the gap with the leading teams and turn the AMR 25 into a car capable of competing for victories in the coming years. The AMR 25 will mark the end of an era for Aston Martin, being the last car of the team to use a Mercedes power unit before the transition to Honda in 2026. This change not only represents a technological update, but also implies a strategic challenge for the team, which will have to squeeze the most out of the final version of the Mercedes engines while beginning to adapt its structure to the demands of the future partnership with Honda. One of the main challenges for Aston Martin in 2025 will be to find the balance between developing the AMR 25 with the Mercedes engine and preparing the integration of the new Japanese power unit without compromising the performance of the car in the season. The Mercedes power unit has proven to be one of the most reliable and efficient in the hybrid era, but in recent years it has lost ground to the technology of Red Bull powertrains and Ferrari. This means that Aston Martin will have to optimize every aspect of its design to compensate for any power deficit and maximize aerodynamic and mechanical efficiency. The challenge is not only technical but also logistical. The change of engine supplier implies a profound transformation in the architecture of the car. The integration of a new power unit requires modifications to the chassis, cooling system and weight distribution, forcing the team to plan ahead to avoid compatibility issues in 2026. Aston Martin cannot afford to make mistakes in this transition, so the development of the AMR 25 will also serve as a laboratory to evaluate which concepts can be transferred to the future Honda-powered car. Another key aspect is the relationship between the engine and aerodynamics. During the 2024 season, Aston Martin has identified that one of its main problems has been the management of airflow at the rear of the car, affecting stability and traction in low-speed corners. With the AMR 25, the team will seek to maximize the efficiency of the aerodynamic flow around the Mercedes power unit, optimizing the design of the side pods and engine cover to reduce drag and improve cooling. This optimization will not only benefit performance in 2025, but will also allow crucial data to be collected for the design of the Honda-powered AMR 26. The team will also have to manage the development of its powertrain with support from Mercedes, knowing that the German manufacturer's priority will be focused on its own factory team. In the past, customer teams have faced difficulties receiving updates at the same time as the main team, meaning that Aston Martin will have to work with the resources available to make the most of the latest evolution of the Mercedes engine without relying on external upgrades. As the Honda era approaches, Aston Martin is reconfiguring its technical infrastructure to accommodate a working arrangement where it will have an exclusive engine supplier. This means that, unlike in previous years, the team will have a more direct relationship in powertrain development, something that in 2025 they will still not be able to take advantage of with Mercedes. This transitional year will be key for the team to refine its approach and build a solid foundation ahead of the regulation change in 2026. The AMR 25 not only represents the end of the relationship with Mercedes, but also symbolizes the beginning of a new era for Aston Martin. The team must prove that it is capable of closing this chapter with a competitive car, ensuring that its final season with German technology serves as a springboard for a new stage with Honda, where the ultimate goal is to position itself as a real contender for the Formula One championships. With these changes, Aston Martin is making it clear that it does not want to remain in the shadows. The team has made key decisions in its technical development, its organizational structure and its strategic planning for the future. The AMR 25 is not just an evolution of the previous model, but a statement of intent. The team wants to establish itself as a competitive force in Formula One and prepare for a new era with Honda from 2026. The aerodynamic redesign, the optimization of the DRS, the internal restructuring of the team and the arrival of key figures such as Andy Cowell and Adrian Newey position Aston Martin on a path of profound transformation. The 2025 season will be a turning point, as it not only represents the last opportunity to take advantage of the Mercedes engine, but also the chance to show that the team is capable of evolving beyond the ups and downs of previous years. The real challenge will not only be to improve performance on the track, but to consolidate a long-term project that allows Aston Martin to compete with the best teams in the championship. The key will be in the team's ability to execute these changes effectively, translating technical development into real results during the season. Now, the question is clear. Can Aston Martin turn the AMR 25 into a car that competes at the highest level? Will it have the necessary tools to close the gap with the leading teams and secure its place among the title contenders in the future? If you think that this change at Aston Martin will be enough to fight in 2025, leave your opinion in the comments. And if you want to closely follow how this project evolves, subscribe to the channel and activate notifications. See you in the next analysis.